So let's just cut straight to the best part. I finally caved, I got the light, I got the camera, it's all here, but then I get on the calls with people and I'm not actually looking at them because I'm looking at them on the monitor. So the solution was this Elgato prompter. It acts as a second monitor, and now I can look at the lens and at the person on the call at the same time. I can screen share, massive upgrade. For the camera and the lens, we have the Sony FX3 and the Sony 28mm f2 lens. This camera is massively overqualified for this job, but it was one that we had around the office, so that's why it's being used here. What's cool is that the camera can be powered by a USB-C cable. That's this white cable right here. What's not so cool is that Sony hasn't upgraded their software in like 2 years, and so that USB-C cable cannot be used to connect the computer to the camera. So instead, I have to go HDMI out into an Elgato Cam Link so that the computer and the camera can actually talk to each other. So for audio, the mic, we've got the Shure SM7DB. This is the newer version that has the built-in preamp. XLR out from the mic into the Sony XLR adapter kit on top of the camera. This is communicating directly with the camera through the shoe mount. No cable is required. What this means is the video and audio are already synced together before they go into the computer, which saves a ton of potential headache. And then the mic is on the Elgato Wave arm. Let's talk about lighting now. I've got these two giant doors right next to me with windows, and they're very beautiful, but depending on the time of year and time of day, I can be on these calls and the sun can just be blasting me right in the face. So what I've done is installed electric blinds controlled by these two remotes so that I can adjust the natural lighting coming in through these doors as needed per call. For the key light, we've got the Amaran 60D with the newer 22-inch softbox on top of it. And then we have another Amaran 60D mounted at the top of that shelf over there, no softbox, and it's just mounted up there using a little super clamp. For the key light and the camera setup, they are mounted on top of the small rig arm. Look, I was resistant to this setup for a very long time. If you watch my video from 2 years ago where I give a tour of this home office, none of this fancy gear was here. I was just doing calls on the monitor. And that was great when it was just me and my team. But the more I was invited onto podcasts, the more I was doing discovery calls for social sermons with potential churches, the more I wanted to present myself in the best way possible. And so here we are. All the gear mentioned is linked in the description. And if you saw something in this video that I didn't call out, it was probably in that other video. And so you can find it there. I asked on Instagram for your questions about the home studio. So let's go through a few of these. First up, talk to me about that chair. How does it do for an all-day edit with your back? Yeah, so I'm probably not the best person to answer this. I don't notice things like that. It's the same with mattresses. We'll be traveling. My travel partner will wake up in the morning and they'll be like, oh, that mattress, it was so firm or soft relative to my mattress at home, and now my back hurts. And I'm like, all mattresses feel the same to me, man. So yeah, it works for me. I have other issues, but the back and the chair, fine. Number two, why not go with a sleeker light like Elgato? I like the lights you're using, but it's a bit bulky. 100%, that light is bulky. It's a bit of an eyesore. Here is the thing about light sources. If you want a soft light, the light source has to be big. The bigger the source is, the softer the light is. So the only way to get a smaller light is to make the trade-off that the light is going to be more harsh. That's just physics. That's just the rules of lighting. So that's the trade-off that I've made. If you wanted a smaller light, it's going to be more harsh. So kind of just have to make your choice there. Next up, do you ever get the urge to rearrange everything? Yeah, so I am prone to this 100%, just not in that home studio. And I think maybe the reason for that is because the design in there has always been great, and it wasn't done by me either. Like, professional designers designed that office, and so I don't see the things in it that make me go like, oh, we got to change this, we got to change that. It's great. I've always been happy with it. How do you balance between functionality and aesthetic? I mean, clearly I don't, right? Like the light, the mic, the camera in that office, it's not discreet. I think the way that I made my peace with it was for 5 years before I added all these items, and you can go back and watch that video from last year like I mentioned, the office was the aesthetic standard. And so I had that for 5 years. And so when I finally made those changes to upgrade the video studio, I didn't grieve that previous era because I had enough time with it. Okay, what's the worst thing that happened on set? Okay, so I've never told this story. But one time, I was on a coaching call with a church. This was years ago, to be clear. And the call hadn't officially started yet. So I thought my camera was off. Anyway, somebody walks by the office door. And, I don't know what possessed me to do this. Probably to think like, oh, I'm gonna trick the person that walked by, huh? I lift my shirt up to be like, ah, isn't it funny? I'm lifting my shirt up on a call, but the camera's off, but the employee doesn't know that. Anyway, silence. And then I hear from my monitor, I can see you. The woman on the other side of the call, the camera was not off. Terribly awful, embarrassing. Thankfully, this person had followed us for years. They were a big fan. They thought it was funny. And years later, they've, in the DMs been like, remember that time? That was so funny. So, it could have been a lot worse. So we're waiting on our tacos and our ceviches. I've got the DJI Mic 2 on me right now, and look how far away I am from the camera. This can only be done with a wearable mic, people. What's also cool about these is how easy they are to mount. So of course it comes with this clip right here, but I also have a magnet pinned against my chest underneath my shirt, which allows you to mount the mic on your clothing, basically suspended in midair. Now, if you use just this transmitter, it can record internally without anything else for 14 hours, which is really crazy. But if you pair the transmitter with the receiver, you can unlock 32-bit float audio recording. And that's basically like recording raw video, where you can preserve audio even if you go over and clip. Like if I yell really loud right now, and then you're able to bring it back, no problems. And then of course for us, as we document the journey of our company in this new YouTube series, Pro Church Tools Inc., what we love about these mics is that all 7 of us can wear one, and we can capture audio independently and then piece it together in post, and we are able to actually capture these raw, organic conversations that we're having as a team. There's never been a great solution for this. We've tried so many different options over the years. Famously, I was once convinced that the perfect solution for this was going to be this microphone called the Catchbox. And if you don't know what this is, basically it's a microphone inside of a padded cube. So one person can talk with it, and then when it's someone else's turn to talk, you can literally chuck them the Catchbox. They can catch it, and then they can speak into the mic. As you might be able to surmise, this was not the solution to all of our audio problems, though it did become the poster child for questionable gear purchase decisions that I've made over the years, and the team likes to, make fun of me for it, as they should, really. We were just talking about something, and we wanted to get everyone's feedback, so. What is this thing called? Catchbox.
Oh, QB? You're talking about QB as if he was he actually played such a presence that he had. No, he didn't. He never left the gear closet.
He never turned it on.
Never used it. No, he was turned on once, and we threw him around, and there was a meeting, and we tested him. No, but QB was so important. He's like the foundation of our, he's in our memories. Like, I say QB, you all know who he is.
No, that's a false memory.
No, QB's great. Yeah, Catchbox I wasn't, but I did communicate that to QB. No, QB's great. I miss QB. We never used it.
We literally never used him.
But QB was like a great presence in the office.
That is like, what was that other dog you had for about 5 seconds?
Little Jerry.
Yeah, that's like saying Jerry played a pivotal part in the Shearer household. Jerry was around for about 5 seconds.
I wept when I returned to Jerry.
Did you?
So sad.
So it's a nasty rainy day outside, which means the mood is set perfectly to talk about this. I got an MRI on my knee a few weeks back. I had been experiencing discomfort, getting worse for a while, had consulted with a couple of physiotherapists. They were stumped. One suggested I get imaging. So I'm talking with the doctor after I get the MRI, and he says, hey, you see that right there? That is a 1-inch ganglion cyst on your ACL. Goes on to say, these are pretty common to get on your wrist, pretty rare to have one right on your ACL joint. Can't tell me why it occurred. These things just happen. It's been about 6 months since I first started experiencing this discomfort, and I gotta say, the effect that it's had on my mental and physical health has been very real. I can't really walk for any longer than 5 minutes straight without having to take a break. I used to walk every day outside for an hour, had to quit that. No leg workouts, obviously. I was biking 4 hours per week on the stationary bike. That's gone. And then I've had to adjust my eating habits pretty dramatically also because I'm getting so much less movement and exercise on a day-to-day basis. As for next steps, probably surgery to get rid of this little intruder. All things considered, the diagnosis is not so serious. I'm going to be fine. It's just got me thinking more and more about how everybody is dealing with something, and most of the time you don't know it, even if it's a close friend or family member. I was talking with Alex about this. He's a pastor, great source of wisdom. And I say to him, hey, these moments are not fun, but they form us as humans. And in hindsight, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, yeah, sure. But also, maybe not. Like, sometimes it's just about suffering well. Our lives aren't movies. It isn't just, a setback on the road to the ultimate triumph and then the final credits roll. Especially those of us that follow Jesus, the promise is that we will have to endure suffering. And it's not necessarily, in this life at least, all about overcoming it to greatness on the other side. Sometimes suffering is just suffering. And our job as followers of Christ is to suffer well. The question that Alex always asks and has got me asking myself is what is the most holy thing I can do in this moment? So whatever you're going through right now, hope you're doing all right. Hope you feel the presence of God close to you and know that you're not alone.
The magic conch! Little tiny thing. How dare you!